All right, guys, so we're going to be finishing question 3. Okay, guys, all right, guys, so we're now looking at question 2 of the second or all right, guys, so now we're looking at the second question of the third student task statement. All right. All right, guys. Okay, guys, let's look at the second question of the third student task statement. It says the design of Trisette was based on the design of a high air. Okay, guys, let's look at the second question of the third student task statement. The design of All right, guys, let's look at the second question of the third student task statement. The design of the Trisette was based on the design of a hot air balloon built by Auguste Piccard, Jacques' father. In 1932, Auguste rode in his hot air balloon up to a record-breaking height. Part A. It says August's ascent took 7 hours and went up 51,683 feet. Write a relationship y equals kx to represent his descent from his. All right, guys, let's look at the second question of the third student task statement. The design of the Trisette was based on the design of a hot air balloon built by Auguste Piccard, Jacques' father. In 1932, Auguste rode in his hot air balloon up to a record-breaking height. Part A. August's ascent took 7 hours and went up 51,683 feet. Write a relationship y equals kx to represent his ascent from the starting location, or from his starting location. Okay, so I'm going to partition my workspace in 3 different sections. So we're going to put part A right here. And we're doing the same thing that we did in the first question for part C. We're just going to find the constant of proportionality, and we're converting those hours to seconds. So I want to write that at the top, y equals kx. All right, y, and just a friendly reminder, y is representing the debt, or the depth. I'm sorry about that, not debt, the depth. Okay. And x is representing time. So y in this case is equal to 51,683 feet. All right. X is representing the time, which is 7 hours. And what's missing is the constant, or the unit rate. So our first step is that we want to convert those hours to minutes, or to seconds. I'm sorry about that. And just like what we discussed in the last question, we want to multiply the quantity of hours by the quantity of minutes and seconds. Okay, so 7 times 60 times 60, and that would give me 25,200 seconds. Okay, so if I was to plug this into the equation, it would equal 25,200 K. Now in the last question, I kept the order. The order was different, but multiplication is commutative. So it doesn't matter if I would have put the 25,200 before or after the K. It still is the same thing. All right. So now I want to isolate my variable to figure out what's the value of K, or in this case, the unit rate. And when I do that on both sides, this cancels out, where K is now isolated. And now it gives me my answer, and it's going to be 2 500 feet per second. So how did I know it was positive numbers? Is that ascend means to go up. All right, and it said he went up. Okay. All right, that's how I knew they both were positive numbers. Okay, So for part B, August's descent took 3 hours and went down, or descent, and went down 52,940 feet. Write another relationship to represent his descent. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing. All right. So y equals kx. We have y, which is 52,940 feet. Okay. And then we have x, which is represented by 3 hours. Okay. And then k, we don't know the value of k. All right. Now in the book, they have the time actually being positive. Okay, they have it, the time actually being positive and the distance actually being negative in this case. All right. But we're still going to do the same steps. Okay. 3 times 60 times 60. And this is going to give me 10,800 seconds. All right. So we're going to do the same thing. 52 negative 52,940 feet is equal to 10,800 seconds. K. And we're going to isolate it. If you do the one side, you want to do to the other side because equations crave balance. That cancels out. And the unit rate for it going down is negative 4 9/10 feet per second. Okay. All right. And then for the next question, it says, did Auguste Piccard end up at a greater or lesser altitude than his starting point? How much higher? How much lower? All right. So they say that he ended up lower. So what they did was they found the difference between the two numbers, which here's what they did. They said, okay, 51,683 feet minus 52,940 feet. Okay. Now, since we're subtracting two numbers, if you notice this number is bigger, we can always use the additive inverse. Okay. And since this has the greatest absolute value, and that means our answer is going to be negative, or the value of this expression is going to be negative. It's going to be 1,257 feet. And this means that it's below, all right? So this means that it will be below his starting point. So lesser, is at a lesser altitude. All right, guys. So if you guys have any questions about question 2 of the third student task statement, please make sure you refer to your manager's Google Meet session. Today you'll have a cool down and your homework in the Google Classroom, so don't forget to do that. All right. So I'll see you guys in the next lesson. Have a nice day and a nice night.